In this video, we are going to be looking at how to determine the correct triangle congruence theorem that applies to these triangles. So in this, we are assuming that each of the pairs are congruent. We just want to know how they're congruent. So we're going to be reviewing what the triangle congruence theorems are. So for our first one, I can see that I have WV is congruent to ON. And the reason I can tell is because it has one tick mark or one hash mark right there. The next thing I know is that angle W is congruent to angle O. And I know that based on the marking of this angle here and this angle here. And lastly, I have angle U, with, notice it has two marks here, congruent to angle M. So if I were to go in order, I'm going to start with this. So I have an angle, and that's next to an angle, and that's next to a side. So I know that my triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. So if for any reason you weren't sure, and let's say you started on the other side, and let's say you started with the side first, and you said side, angle, angle. Well, this is side, angle, angle. But the way we like to write it is angle, angle, side. So remember, angle, angle, side. The next one we are going to be looking at is in a format that you will see pretty often. And we have to make some assumptions when we see a shape like this. So first, what I know is AC is congruent to line segment EC. And I know that because of this mark here, that means it's given to us. The other thing I know is BC is congruent to DC because of these two lines right here, indicating that it's given that they're congruent. Now I need to use one of my angle theorems to help me figure out the last piece. So notice that this is a bow tie, but it's kind of flipped. It means that this angle is congruent to this angle, and that is called our vertical angle theorem. So I know that I have this angle in here because of vertical angle theorem. So not everything is always going to be given, but we can infer things based on some of our previous theorems that we've had. So for here, I have a side next to an angle, next to a side. So I can conclude that they're congruent by side, angle, side. All right, the next one we have is this one right here. Oftentimes when you see a right angle in here, it's a good indication that we might be using the only one that's meant for just right triangles. So in this case, you'll notice that XZ is congruent to QS given these markings, and that RS is congruent to YZ giving these markings. This is our hypotenuse, and this is one of our legs. It's a right triangle, so I can say that it's congruent by hypotenuse leg. Okay. Our next one right here, I have angle B is congruent to angle P. I have BC is congruent to PR. And I have angle C is congruent to angle R. So if I'm starting from here, I have angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. So keep in mind how we can tell is always going to be in the order in which we are viewing it. So anywhere I start, whatever comes next is what you're going to state. Lastly, we have these two triangles. AB is congruent to PQ. QR is congruent to BC. And CA is congruent to RP. And we can tell based on the markings that we have. So this is side, side, side.